Christ, that each one may receive the things done in the body, according to what he has done, whether good or bad. And there are only two categories, good or bad. Whatever is not good is bad. And every one of us here who's a believer and continues in the faith till the end of our life will one day have to be made manifest before the judgment seat of Christ, answering for the things we've done in our body. I find some...
Hello guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I hope everybody's having a good day. Today I want to talk about not blaming the body because the body cannot see. Your body is not an excuse for you doing the wrong things. Your fleshly desires are not a good excuse. Why is that? Because the body cannot see. The body knows no better. You have to think of the body as something like as a kid that doesn't know anything. What parent will let their kid go out and run wild and do what they want? They protect it by watching over them and telling them what to do, not because they want their kid to feel bad, but in order to protect them. They don't let their kid go out and do whatever it wants. You have to think that your body is the same way. You don't let your body go out and do whatever it would like, because you know the body knows no better. The body cannot see. The body is something like a kid with no knowledge. The body has no knowledge within it. The body only knows that it wants what it wants. The tongue wants to taste. The eyes want to see. The body wants to feel. The ears want to hear. And there's no meaning to any of it. Even though we might try to put such a meaning on things like sex, there's no true, profound meaning to it other than the body wants what it wants. The body has no reason to want what it wants. It just wants what it wants. Well, it does have a reason. Because of nature and all that. You know, nature has its path. And people have the mistaken idea that just because something is natural, that makes it right. I saw this video of my meditation teacher. His name is Yetadamo Bhikkhu. And he talks about this. People think trying to justify desires because they try to say that what's natural is what's right. And if that were true, then you would think that humans would think that killing is all right, because it's pretty natural. If you look out in nature, that's what's going on. We're so separated from it that we don't even realize it. That's the nature. That's the nature of this flesh. That's the nature of this body. That's part of its nature. And just because it's natural, part of nature, does not mean that it's right. It's part of nature. The lion gotta eat. Something has to die in nature, and it's natural. It's a natural process. It's naturally within them. That doesn't make it right. These desires are naturally within us, but it does not make it right. So we have to put a watch on it. We have to be watchful at all times so that the body does not guide you, so that you are not guided by this body, that you are guided by something higher than this body. That you're not constantly just saying yes all the time to the body, because you will become enslaved to the laws of the body. The laws of the body are uncomfortable. If you give to this body over and over, eventually it'll start to pull you in directions you no longer want to go. And when you are able to see this is where you could break out. You have to see it first. A lot of people don't see it. You don't see it. We're caught up in delusion. This world is bound up by delusion. Delusion is running this world right now. We're idolizing the devil personified. We're idolizing sins personified. We're idolizing killers. We're idolizing lust. Lust in the image of a person. We're putting that up and idolizing that. We're idolizing greed. We're idolizing prideful people we put as idols, and we look at when we could much better. It's not people um, out there that are trying to teach good. We just never turn to look at the people that are wisdom personified. There's people with this wisdom that's just the love personified. Um, some of these teachers out here, like, they're that personified. This is who you shouldn't look up to anyone, but if you are to look to anyone for guidance, you shouldn't look to the killers. You shouldn't look to the prideful ones. You shouldn't look to the lustful ones. You should look to the people with wisdom. You should look to the people with love in their hearts, with understanding, with compassion. These are things that are good for us. Pride is not good for us. Pride will enslave us. Pride will lock us in a box. The desires of the flesh are not good for us. They will enslave us. They will lock us in a box. It's time to break free from that. The time is coming, man. One day you're going to have to face judgment. And people think they'll have to face judgment after this life is over. No, you're going to come to a day where you have to face judgment in this very life. You have to pay for your actions. See, we're so young, we don't realize that. But if you see people calm down as they get older, it's a reason for that. It's not just that they're getting older and they can't do stuff. It's because they've learned. They've had to face the consequences. And once you have to face the consequences, you're less likely to do it. See, right now we're wandering around and we haven't really seen the true consequences of our actions yet. Until that day comes where we try to turn the other way. And in that battle of trying to do good, trying to do what's right, this is where judgment comes. We will all come to judgment because these evil tendencies cannot sustain us. At least not for very long. Maybe they could seem satisfying for a little bit of time, but after a while, you'll just be tired and exhausted. And you'll turn to something good. And when you turn to something good, this is where you have to face the consequences of your actions. You want to go towards good. You want to reap the benefits of good. Face the evil. Face the evil within your heart. Face the anger within yourself without lashing out. Face it. Sit with it. Feel that anger. See how much that anger hurts. Face the lust. All the things you've done to people. All the degrading you've done to people. You've degraded people. And now you want to do good, so you'll face that degrading and you'll be degraded yourself. It's not fun being degraded. You don't like being degraded. And you'll see your mind start to degrade itself. You decided to degrade others, and now judgment has come. And now you witness that degradation. And you'll be much less likely to degrade another from it. All these things are teaching. It's not that these things are just 100% bad, but we've let evil enter every aspect of it. We've let evil enter into the aspect of relationships where pride takes over and people are constantly arguing with each other instead of being a union for each other and being there for each other. It's a constant wanting from each other, wanting this from each other, never wanting to give something from themselves to the other. We've let sex is not good regardless, but we've added even more evil to it. We've created porn where people are degraded. I mean, absolutely degraded in front of a camera. And we sit there and we watch it. Destroying our minds and not even knowing it. Because of the pleasure. We feel the pleasure and not even seeing that in this pleasure, I'm destroying my mind. My mind is going to have to, my mind is in a scary place because I've done this. And I have to face it. We're always on our phones. We're always distracted. Instagram, social media. It's never stopping. You do this, you go here. Okay, you get done with that. Then you go here and you eat. And then you get done with that. And then you go and you get on your phone and scroll on TikTok. And then you get done with that. And then you sit there for 5 minutes. And you can't bear it. So you go watch Netflix. You binge watch a show on Netflix. You go with your partner. You go with them. You're never stopping. Can you see that? You're never stopping. And you wonder why you're tired. You wonder why you're exhausted. Because you never gave yourself a chance to rest. You have to rest. Rest is important. But we never rest. We constantly seek out distraction. And why is that? Because we don't want to face the consequences of our actions. We can't sit there with ourselves for 30 minutes without almost losing our minds, at least. We can't sit there with our thoughts. We become afraid of our very thoughts. We become afraid of our own minds. This is supposed to be the resting place, the mind, and we become afraid of it. So a lot of us will never see rest because we keep going to the body because we're afraid of our minds. We keep going to the feelings in the body because we're afraid of our very own minds. We can't face the thoughts in our head. We can't face the um, discomfort of being alone. We can't face the fears in our mind. We can't face we can't face it. That's it. It's only one way um, out of all these things, and that's right through them. You got to go through it. Sit there, acknowledge it. Don't ignore that you're scared of it. Acknowledge that I have fear, and then explore that. Why am I fearful? Why can't I sit here? Why do I always have to be doing something? Is all this running around and doing stuff, is any of it benefiting you at all? If you could just take time and stop for a second, I promise you it would be of much more benefit than this constant running around. But the only difference is it's going to come with a cost. If you want the benefits, it's not like you just sit there and you start analyzing and then you get the benefits. No, you sit there, you start analyzing. You go through the chaos. You go through the intense pain. You got to go through that pain. It's not like it literally hurts. Nobody's denying that it literally hurts. It is literally painful. There is literally pain within yourself that you have to let flow through. And you have to feel it. You can't let the pain come through. The pain can't come through and flow out of you unless you feel it. It has to be felt. And then the pain will start to flow out. But it has to be felt first. You have to bring these things to the surface, and bringing them to the surface, you got to feel every part of it. You got to analyze every part of it. You got to start thinking for yourself. Get off social media. Stop defiling your minds with these songs that you're listening to. Just feeding the pride in us. These songs we listen to are feeding the pride. We're feeding the lust. We're feeding the evil. We're feeding it all through these songs. We're feeding it all through social media. We're feeding it all through these sites we've created. We're feeding it all through these ideas that are being put out. We're feeding it all. And we're just giving the enemy more and more power. We'll have to face the enemy one day. And you have to face the enemy, which is no one but yourself, no one but your own thoughts, no one but your own desires. That's all that the evil is to face. There's nobody else out there that's evil. Who you think the devil is? Where do you think the devil resides? You think he's out there somewhere waiting for you? No, he's within. The evil one is within you. And it's you're your biggest enemy. But you are also your only savior. Your only enemy is you. And the only one that's going to save you is you. So that's two sides to that. It's kind of freeing to know that, but it's hard to accept that. See, we always want to blame others for our, how we feel. We always want to blame somebody else and never take responsibility that I feel this way because I feel this way. This is my feeling. It's not because anyone else. Even if someone else triggered a feeling in me, this came from in myself, which within myself caused me trouble. Trouble can't come from outside. It can appear that it does. Things can appear to be happening on the outside, but if you look closer, it's all happening within. And you have to be willing to go to war and not give up with no end in sight. That's what faith is. You see no end to it, but you know your mind is messed up, but you have the faith that there's good. This can't be what I'm subject to. It has to be something greater than this. My very own selfishness has led me into the gutter. My very own selfishness. No one else's. My very own selfishness has caused me trouble. My gratifying of my desires, thinking of myself, never even for a second thinking to give. When the last time have you thought to give to someone? When's the last time you checked on your people, man? Check on your family. Just check in constantly. You never know. When is the last time you genuinely thought of someone else without you being a part of it? A lot of times we get in these relationships and we think that we're caring for the other, but in the whole time it's really just us being selfish because we want to fulfill our own desires, these passions we have. We never want to help another. Start giving. But don't just give because I'm telling you to. Start giving from the heart. Start developing that goodness to where you automatically want to give. The Buddha said if you knew the benefits of giving, you wouldn't eat your last meal without giving to someone else. You wouldn't have sat down at a table and ate without offering someone else some of that. Because the gift of giving is one of the gifts we have to use. Stop always trying to receive. Stop chasing after money, man. Think about what are you doing this for? That's where the devil has the most power. Whenever you don't have a firm purpose, the devil can still creep in even when you have a firm purpose. Even Jesus had to face it. He had a firm purpose. He knew exactly what he wanted. He knew exactly where he wanted to go. But still the devil was able to tempt him. Well, it wasn't able to tempt him, but was able to. He still had to face the devil. A lot of us aren't facing the devil. We're walking and dancing and playing with it. We're walking and dancing and playing with the devil, dancing with the devil, dancing with the enemy, thinking it's our friend. It's like at first it feels like you're in the ocean and you're in the water and you think everything's just nice. You see all the beautiful fishes and everything seems harmless. And there's people with these books and they're telling you there's sharks in this water, but you don't believe them. Jesus is telling us there's sharks out here in this water. Be careful. There's sharks in that water. It looks beautiful, but there's sharks in there. And we never think to get out the water until we see the shark ourselves. They try to save us before we have to see it, but the way we are, we just hard-headed sometimes. We got to see it for ourselves. And once you know it's sharks in the water for yourself, nobody didn't just tell you. See, it's a difference. If you're in the water and somebody tells you it's sharks in the water, you don't see the sharks. You're like, okay, I'm going about it. Look at all this. This is beautiful. Now, when you see that shark for yourself, you going to get out that water, ain't you? You're going to start swimming a little fast out that water. But when somebody just tells you it's sharks, it's still up for question. But when you know it's sharks, you try to get out that water. So do me a favor, y'all, and get out that water, please. Thank you for watching my video. You have a good one.